From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time for Campo's Corner here on The Horse's Mouth. At Tommy Max, of course, at my bar where we just sit down and we chat. And when I chat with Coach Campo, it's all about football and our hometown team. Brought to our good friends at Dasher and the law offices of Terrell Hogan. Great to have them on board. Let's welcome in Coach Campo. What's up, Coach? How are you?
I'm doing great.
How you feeling, man? You feeling
good?
When we look at the Jags, the draft, free agency, all together combined, at least to date, how you feeling about the team?
Well, first of all, let me just say it this way. I think this draft was a good one with high-end upside.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of what you want with a team that's 9-8.
Sure.
And has a chance to move forward. I think they did a good job in free agency.
I agree.
To get to where they were this year, and they took guys that have tremendous upside and are guys that they didn't have to zero into one or the other. They took the guy that they felt could help them the most.
They grabbed 3 from LSU. I think the first time in 7 years, something like that. It's only happened where one school got picked. 3 guys from one school got picked in a draft. But you're talking Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver, Mason Smith, who has the most upside, I think, and then Jordan Jefferson, another really good defensive player. All 3 of those guys should make impacts if they can stay healthy, and that's number 1 for Mason Smith.
For sure, and I talked to Ed Ogeron. You know, Ed was with us as a GA for us when I was at Miami.
Oh, okay.
And Ed said that Mason Smith could have been the top 5 in the draft if he hadn't gotten hurt.
Yep.
But he's another year away from that.
Yep.
And he has a tremendous upside, outstanding athlete, and there's great. This staff, Nielsen, his mentor, kind of was Ogeron. He also is a defensive line coach and brought in Mike Jenkins, who I consider probably one of the best defensive coaches in the country to mentor. That young man had 5 different defensive line coaches during his career.
Wow.
So he needs to get settled with this group. And they would not have taken him if there hadn't been a lot of combination guys that knew each other and this and that.
So, like, the risk-reward, like, it's risky because he's been hurt, and it's a serious injury. So if it doesn't happen, then it's not a good pick.
Right.
But if he's healthy and he gets back to when he was playing before he got injured, and it does, look, I had the ACL and meniscus. It takes a year after you're fully recovered. Get it out of your head, forget about it. You don't think every time you nick it, you're like, oh no, did I hurt it again type of thing. It does affect your play. So if he gets back to that, the upside is tremendous. You're talking a big dude that can move, long arms, who's got some wiggle and shake inside and stout against the run. Throw that next to Eric Armstead. I mean, come on now. We're talking about what we've been hoping all off season. Fix that interior of that defensive line. And they may just have.
And then you throw Jefferson in. Jefferson is a prototypical 4-3 defensive end. Is really what he is.
Right.
I mean, if you're looking at his body and some of the things he did, now he's not as flashy, not quite as athletic as Mason Smith. But I'll tell you what, people think the problem that the fans have with those picks is that LSU's defense wasn't very good.
Right.
Here's the problem. Matt House, who's here, the linebacker coach, was the coordinator there. That's why everybody's looking at. Well, I'll tell you this. When I left the Cowboys and went to Kansas and became the defensive coordinator there, I was shocked the difference between college football and pro football. It took me a year before I figured out the differences. So forget the defensive coordinator. Look at the guy. Is he a player or is he not a player? And I think both of them are upsides.
They say Jefferson squats 700 pounds.
Absolutely.
That feels like a nose tackle maybe to me.
But even a strong side defensive end.
Absolutely.
He's a guy you can put on the tight end.
We need a nose though, Coach. Who's our nose? That's what we got to figure out, right? We got to figure that out during camp. I think the rest of the draft, I like the corner out of FSU. He plays with physicality.
Absolutely.
It's funny, and we know it's not man, but Ryan Nielsen comes in. No, everyone thinks it's man. It's not man. Every DB they talk to, why do you like the Jags? They're going to play man.
Well, they're going to press.
They're going to play press.
They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be aggressive. I think they'll stay away from pure man-to-man because of the nickel situation. Now, that kid coming in from Florida, that's really what he is, more so. He doesn't have great speed, but he's physical and good-looking and all those things, and a good athlete. And he's a great tackler. So, you know, I think he's a plus. There's no doubt in my mind.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know if we know this yet, Coach, but with the new kickoff rule, do we need more defensive linemen on the kickoff team?
We need,
you know what I mean?
Like, physical guys up there. Bigger guys.
Right.
You won't
it's not going to be about
speed.
Avoiding. It's going to be about hitting, shedding, and making a tackle.
Plays. So linebackers, D linemen that are athletes, those are the guys that are going to do well, because I'll tell you, there's some return guys. If you break that wall,
smell you later.
You got a long run ahead of you. You know?
And now you can have two back there.
Absolutely. So they're going to have to. It's going to be a different setup for sure.
I wonder if they build it like a rugby line. You know, all the big guys in the middle, and as you go out, they're smaller and faster.
I have no idea, but that's
it's going to be interesting how they do that. All right. So Brian Thomas Jr. What do you like about him, other than he's fast, and he scored 17 touchdowns last year at LSU?
The things I really like about him is that he's fast and scored 17 touchdowns. That's what I like the best about him.
That's the most, right.
One of the things that sticks out to me, though, is he, in a number of situations, was going full speed, and the ball was underthrown, and he was able to stop and come back and challenge the DB, because he had the DB beaten because of his speed, and still go up and make plays. And so for me, that's the kind of guy you want. His route tree is going to be a little different. It's going to take him a little while. But he can separate. He's got the speed to separate, and he's big and go get the football.
And for the record, not all the time, but sometimes when the ball's underthrown deep, they throw it too late.
Yes.
Right? With a speedy guy. That's what you're talking about. If he's that fast, you're going to have to figure out when to throw it. Trevor can throw it a mile.
Absolutely.
But it can get hung up in the air if he throws it late, like any other quarterback.
Absolutely. Right? And I loved it. You know, we've done some things with Aaron Beasley, who I think was one of the best DBs that ever played at Jacksonville.
I agree with that.
And in the league, probably.
Great
And
DB.
I was talking to him the other day, and I said, what do you think of the 4.3 speed of Thomas? And he said, makes me a little nervous. I said, I think it makes all of them a little nervous.
The only caveat for me, so when DJ Chark came in, now he didn't have near the production as 17 touchdowns. He had like 3 or 5. I mean, he did not produce touchdowns at LSU. But tall at 6'4", ran a 4.3, 4.40, but you never saw it on the field. I think when you watch this kid on the field, he looks like he's running it smooth. Like, it doesn't even feel like he's trying. Hopefully that equates to big-time playmaking down the field.
Absolutely, and I think you made a point earlier about the fact that the draft is subjective. You know, some make it, some don't. And obviously, the more things, the more studying you do. And like I said, there's a lot of association between the LSU people and the Jag people.
So you understand the connection.
And so you know more about those guys. They're almost more, they'll talk to you more. You know, when you have that association. And so to me, I think those 3 guys are all guys that to me, are good picks.
Absolutely.
We'll see. I mean, you know,
look, a lot. We were talking off air. A lot goes in off the field as well as on. You know, off the field can be, especially for the high, draft pick. They're going to get a lot of attention. They're going to have a lot of money. You got to keep them busy and make sure that they're ready to be a pro. And that's probably the hardest thing to figure out. You don't know until you get them in the building and what kind of pro they're going to end up being.
Well, perfect example for me is I think I'm a pretty good evaluator of DBs, especially. And I loved C.J. Henderson. But I did not know the background. I only saw what I saw on film and what the guy's talent level was and what his, his quickness, his this, his that. And I was going off of that. So
and a lot
you have to know everything.
You do have to know everything, and you can't always change. Like, a lot of coaches be like, it's okay, I can change. I'll make him. I'll make him under me, but that doesn't always happen.
Work.
You're right. All right, Coach. So overall, Jags off season. What kind of grade are you giving them, A through D?
Gosh, I'd give them a B plus at least, because I don't think you can give them an A until you see what the guys do on the field. But I feel really good about the guys they brought in. I feel pretty darn good about the draft, going all the way down through it, actually, this year.
We felt good about last year's draft, too, so we got to wait and see.
But that's the other thing. You don't know yet who Strange is or Bigsby is or
Johnson.
Johnson.
Parker
or the guard. The guy
Cooper Hodges.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what those guys are yet.
That's right.
So let's wait and see, and then we'll know how good these two drafts are.
Well, at the end of the day, we all look good on paper.
Right.
You better make sure the head's on straight this year, Coach.
Absolutely.
Right? And then we got a chance.
That's the biggest challenge for Coach Peterson, is to make sure that he doesn't ever let what happened last year happen.
You're right about that.
Part of it was bringing in the defensive coaches that he feels really good about, which he didn't have the time nor the opportunity to a year ago. I'm looking forward to
that. Accountability is something amazing, isn't it? When it's implemented, it works.
It works.
It works, Coach. Always a good play.
Same time,
man. All right, me and Coach Campo every week here on The Horse's Mouth. You don't have to go check out his profile. He's all over the place, all over social media, all over 1010XL. He helps me out on a few different things as well. Always a great time with Coach Campo. Go Jags. We are very impressed so far and hope it all works out. Until next time, y'all be safe out there and stay cool, man. And we'll see you right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
The coach should be going to bed at night thinking about the athlete and how they're going to help that athlete improve. They shouldn't be worrying about how am I going to quantify their improvement, or am I going to have to keep up with all this information? Those things that are kind of background to the coach focusing there on the athlete. And so what Dasher does is it takes all those side things away, allowing the coach to focus then on the athlete.